It was a tale of two shows this week. Some good and some, eh. I'm Charles Wrighton with my review of AEW Dynamite. It did get better in the second half, and overall it wasn't a bad episode of Dynamite. There was less of an elite influence, which is always fucking nice. But still, there are some things going on as far as feuds, gimmicks, and just backstage segments where I really don't fucking care about some of the stuff going on in AEW. But let me know what you thought of this show in the comments, please. And also, I do want to say, we're building towards Revolution, which is coming up really goddamn soon. And I'm not totally sold on this pay-per-view card. I am still going to order the pay-per-view. I have ordered every single AEW pay-per-view since Double or Nothing. But that being said, they're really going to have to sell me hard on this one to go in with anything other than lower expectations. But what do you guys think of the AEW Revolution card so far? In the comments, please. So, Moxley walking half a mile to the ring. His cardio must be fucking stellar with how many steps he gets in. Shivani talking about how Paul White, the former Giant on WCW programming, and also the former Big Show for numerous years on WWE programming, has signed with AEW to be part of AEW Dark Elevation, which is going to be a new Dark show on Mondays, and then they're going to have the usual one on Tuesdays, and then Dynamite on Wednesdays. If they can feature more talents and not have so many matches drag, and they can just feature more of their roster and have different commentary teams and a different feel for every single show, then I'm all for that. And Paul White has been in wrestling for a number of years. So you know what? I'm excited to see. Okay, I'm not necessarily excited to see what he can fucking do, but you know what? He's been in wrestling for quite a while, and if he's happy to be there, then good. I don't really want to see him in the goddamn ring because I haven't been interested in anything that Paul White has done in, WWE for the last fucking decade. But whatever. Hey, he can get his money. Maybe he can get a sitcom that isn't so goddamn shit like that one on Netflix. Anyway, so Moxley took on Ryan Nemeth, and yeah, this didn't last very long. 2 minutes later, paradigm shift, 1, 2, 3. Moxley promo says he will do whatever it takes to get the AEW championship. And he says, what comes to mind when you hear the words exploding barbed wire deathmatch? I'll tell you what comes to mind. Fucking bullshit. All deathmatch wrestling is fucking bullshit. I'm not saying that the wrestlers competing are fucking bullshit or are not talented, but the concept of deathmatch wrestling is fucking revolting to me. If you guys like it, that's great. I don't. He says he's addicted to wrestling, and this deathmatch, it seems like a great way to go out, because one way or another, I'm getting the title or I'm going out in a blaze of glory. I also think this might be a way to write off Moxley, because I don't know how far along Renee is, but maybe he wants to go home and be there for the birth of his kid. This also seems like the only way they can wrap up Moxley and Omega, by maybe writing Moxley off for a little bit so he can fucking rest. So anyway, we get recaps of the Omega-Mox rivalry, including the match at Full Gear 2019 that I fucking hated, but other people liked, so that's alright. Archer and Phoenix had an interview. I don't know who the guy was doing the interview, and then they had a brief brawl where Phoenix just kept dodging everything that Archer did. This will come back to haunt him a little bit later. The Varsity Blondes, Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison versus Starks and Cage. Taz joins commentary and yells a lot. Sometimes Taz's commentary is really good. Other times he's just shouting over everybody and it's not really good television. This is decent. Powerbomb into the post and steps. That looked kind of painful. Cage looks great and sometimes can hit some good moves. Other times he's just kind of a fucking meathead that just stands there. Garrison nearly crushes his head into the guardrail on a dive. The Varsity Blondes, Varsity Non-Blondes, 4 Non-Blondes did well. Actually, there are 2 Non-Blondes. 4 Non-Blondes are, what's going on? Anyway, so Drill Claw to Pillman Jr., 1, 2, 3. And then we get footage of Sting driving, somewhere in the desert. I don't know where the fuck they were. Maybe in Albuquerque? I'll be quirky. And gets Darby out of the body bag. He has his TNT championship, and then Sting shows up. It's Sting! He's got all the snow and everything, and who's in the body bag? He's dragging the body bag, and it's Hook. He's got Hook in the bag. And okay, Taz is like, this is bullshit, this kind of stuff. And Darby, just goes to the ring pulling like a Shawn Michaels, and then later a Sting. Unbelievable, what a ride. He's got a skateboard, and he's got the cord on him because they didn't really tell him how to get, the repelling gear off of him, and he's just doing this stuff. Sting gets in, does a Stinger Splash, and then Scorpion Death Drop to Cage. Okay, cool. It's just like WCW, except Sting's a whole lot fucking older. And look, if I'm going to criticize WWE for how they use part-timers and everything at the expense of their current roster, I'm going to have to criticize AEW for it. I'm glad that Sting is wanting to do this, and I hope Darby gets something out of it, but I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not fucking feeling it. It's trying to recapture magic that is long fucking gone. It's the same magic that TNA tried to recapture by having Sting there for a number of fucking years, and eventually that got worn down. But anyway, boy, Khan sure loved his WCW for 96 and 99. Shivani interviews Miro and co, Kip and Penelope. I hate this feud. I don't even hate the people involved. I just hate the fucking feud. He says that he will teach Charles how to be a man, and then a note gets passed. Kind of like the old thing, do you like me? Do you not like me? Yes, no, maybe. It's challenging for a Revolution tag match, though. We are back to 6th grade tactics. And Miro says, yeah, we'll have a tag match, but this is immature. You should come to me. Coming from the same guy that was upset because his best friend's video game console got busted, and Miro wants to talk about being mature. Okay, then we get to Brandon Cutler versus Proud Boy Hager. I'm going to call him that because he's a fucking idiot with a goddamn plastic wife. And why is this not on Dark is what I wrote down. And Big Lariat, 1, 2, 3. Santana Ortiz and Wardlow attack. The Bucks show up, not a moment too late. And they are not intimidating at all. They try to sound intimidating. They're going to get at Jericho and MJF. And then Jericho and MJF decide to, just show up on the screen like, hey, we smeared raspberry jam over your dad's face, and now we're going to beat him up and throw him lamely into the trailer and everything. And the guy's face is so goddamn pointy that I'm amazed he didn't dent the goddamn trailer and, cut it open. It's just fucking stupid. Proud Boy Buck, by the way, is what I'm calling him. And he's loaded into an ambulance later. Funny thing, though, is the Bucks are trying to chase Jericho and MJF away, and the vehicle that they race away in, the door doesn't get closed, or barely gets closed quick enough before it gets taken off by a delivery truck, and the person driving, whoever the fuck it was, nearly ran into a goddamn concrete pole right afterwards. So great driving there. Then the Good Brothers go into the ambulance with Papa Buck because why the fuck not? They can't decide who's together, who's not. And it's fucking goddamn infuriating. I also don't like this Impact partnership. Nothing against the people on Impact, except one guy I'm going to talk about here in a little bit, but this isn't doing anything for AEW. I mean, yeah, it's showing that they're willing to work with other companies, and that's great. I don't fucking care. So, anyway, hype package for Cody and Velvet versus Shaq and Jade. Paige versus Isaiah Cassidy with Matt and TH2. Paige was much more focused and, aggravated. He was just more aggressive. And Matt attacks Paige behind the ref's back, but Silver and Reynolds show up and say, hey, Aubrey, this guy's doing this stuff. You know the guy that moves like a goddamn statue? The guy that just stands there in a freaking suit, and he's a statue in a suit, and, oh, it's Matt Hardy. I'm sorry. I don't have anything against Matt Hardy as a person, but good fucking God, neither him or Jeff should be wrestling in any capacity in 2021. Matt gets kicked out. This is fun. We get a nice brainbuster for 2, and then commentary references Dick Murdoch's legacy. Where he was a card-carrying member of Triple K Car Insurance, if you know what I fucking mean. Dick Murdoch was fucking great in the ring, but by God, you just can't defend that fucking bullshit. Deadeye for 3. Fine match. Isaiah Cass, I don't get why they turn Private Party heel and just keep having them lose, but I think the Private Party are can be a great team. I like some of what they're doing with Paige, but I feel like they're just going to stumble accidentally into making him champion, and he's going to be less over than he was about, around the time of Full Gear. That's my opinion. Matt promo from space, apparently. Oh, he's actually saying, I'm going to take out the Dark Order that you love so much, and then he has Alan Angels and tosses him off the stage onto a table, because why the fuck not? Why not break a table? I'm so fucking sick of Don Callis on my television. You guys like him, that's fine. I also don't believe that Omega understands anything about welding. And if Omega is building any apparatuses for this exploding barbed wire death match, then fucking hell, Tony Khan needs to hire a building contractor. He definitely needs to hire somebody to do Omega's promos besides Callis, because Callis is only about getting himself over, and Omega cannot cut promos at all. He's not intimidating. I know Omega has his fans. I'm sure Callis has his fans. And he's got some issues that are obviously going to come to light pretty soon in regards to stuff that's happened on Impact. Don Callis is only maybe 10% as good as he, was on his best day. At least I'm referring to right now. Don Callis is just not interesting at all. He's just not. And I will not put any investment or stock into what he fucking does, because he's fucking infuriating. He's a goddamn idiot. He's a fucking egotistical jackass. Anyway, women's tourney recaps. It's going to be the Bleacher Report special this Sunday, I believe, at 4 p.m. my time. I will find a way to watch that and review it. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully a lot of people watch it, and maybe they put more investment in the women's division, like Nyla Rose. Thankfully, without Vicky Guerrero. You know what? If they just separate that partnership and Vicky just isn't around anymore, Nyla really doesn't need a manager. She can talk pretty well. She took on Britt Baker with Reba. Britt kept trying to wear Nyla down. Rose just used her power, and Britt did leave and throw some trash cans around, then came back and shoved the camera, and then Reba kept interfering. It's Baker with some Britt and run offense. Proud of that one. And she got the exposed buckle, going, so obviously that's going to factor in a little bit later. This wasn't bad. There was a nice arm focus because Nyla's shoulder got busted, so Britt just kept focusing on that. We got a choke slam by Nyla to Reba on the apron, the hardest part of the ring. This kept going though. It's not that it was bad, but it just felt like it could have ended maybe a couple minutes sooner. But at least they both took it seriously, and Britt has improved and sunk her teeth in this heel roll. Yes, pardon the pun, because she's a dentist. And I know, shocking that Britt's a dentist. They should mention that once every minute like they always fucking do. Cannonball to Reba, that looked fucking painful. And buckle shot in the lockjaw. She kept trying to lock the lockjaw on, but no, she couldn't. We get a crucifix for 2. And then Beast Bomb, but Nyla can't cover in time and just gets a 2, and then later hits a Beast Bomb 1, 2, 3. The producer didn't even like that. Next week, we get FTR and Tully versus Jurassic Express. Okay, video package. I never want to hear that fucking midget talk on my television again. If Tully Blanchard takes the pin, that is going to be fucking embarrassing. Watch them have Marco pin Tully. They fucking have that happen. That just send Tully home and just pay him the rest of his contract. I don't care if he's 66. He shouldn't fucking be doing that. MJF and Jericho have a press conference where they're going to take questions from the wrestling media. None of these press conferences and none of this shit has worked with Jericho. It's just to fluff his ego. And then we're going to get Shaq and Jade versus Cody and Red Velvet, the Dark Order versus Private Hardy, and TH2 in a 10-man tag. Ladder qualifier, that is, Max Caster versus 10. And the women's finals, which I believe are also on Wednesday. And then Revolution added matches, Casino Tag Battle Royal. Everybody get in here and get on the card. And Miro and Kip versus Chuck and Cassidy. Archer with Roberts versus Phoenix in a qualifier match. The winner gets to be part of the Face of Revolution ladder match, I believe is what it's called. And let me just say right now, I'm a big fan of Archer. I'm a big fan of Phoenix when Phoenix decides to not almost die doing some of these dives. And so much pyro for Phoenix. It was a nice David Goliath match, and Phoenix does a cool dive, and Roberts stopped Phoenix and sent him to the stage. Roberts looked really goddamn lost, though. And Archer kept shutting him down, and then eventually, we got a senton into the barricade. Phoenix did hit and run, did hit some nice stuff, did a nice avalanche Spanish fly, that is, and then got hit with the pounce, and then the choke slam, and the blackout 1, 2, 3. That's pretty much it right there. So, really, that's all I got to say. So, in closing, though, not a bad episode of Dynamite, but bringing him on just at the end. You're bored. He's not feeling good. So, if you guys like me, just let's send some positive energy to the kitty. He's going to kill me when this camera shuts off. So anyway, guys, not a bad episode of Dynamite overall. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retland. That's Sir. And I will see you soon.